Okay. So so today I decided to talk about 12 principles for success, which is kind of a little bit of a marketing title to say, I mean, really, here's the ultimate thing that I want you to know, that I really think you need to know about entering into a creative career or just embracing that creativity really. And I really was drawn to this topic because I had I had a rough week and I had my computer was dying, my ad account got shut down. There was like a bad typo in one of my books that someone was like, someone should have caught that. Did. And just like it just felt like everything was so like piling on me. And I think we can all relate to that feeling. And it took it took a couple of days to get back on the horse. And I know for me in my youth even just a few years ago, um it would have potentially been something that stopped me, and I think it's something that can stop a lot of people. And there's a lot of um internal work that goes along with building, I mean, any career, but especially a creative career where you are putting your often your innermost thoughts, often, the stories that we care most about. You're putting those, you're taking them out of the heart, out of the mind, you're putting them down on paper, you are showing them to people. There's all of this pressure around getting it right and and really just creating something incredible. And we'd all love to do that, but it's the pressure that really interferes with the magic. So these are 12 principles that I felt really just called to share with you today to help um hopefully they'll just spark something inside of you, help move through. I guess really just take what you need to from today and carry on. So I did make some slides here, and the first principle is know the magic within yourself. Know how incredible it is to be someone that has stories pop into your head, that has, other completely fictional people wander in and start talking to you, or have entire worlds built from your imagination. I mean, know how incredible that is, how special that is, and embrace it. Don't don't think it's something to hide. Don't think it's something to be controlled, something to be made right. It's already incredible as is. Know that it's there. Know that it is incredible. Know that it doesn't need any adjustment. Perfect as is. And the second principle is be humble. And this sounds like the exact opposite of the other one. And being humble to me really means being a student, being open, being someone who can be both confident in their own magic and willing to look at the world around us for inspiration, for ideas, for feedback, for possibly different ways of doing things. Not that things done one way or another are better or worse. And that's part of humility too, is understanding that your way is not always the best way, but that someone else's way is not the best way. And so to me, being humble is really knowing you have magic within you, knowing that other people have magic within them, and that we can all live on this equal plane. We can all enjoy each other's magic, each other's gifts, and take from everyone the the good things that are there, the things that will help build us, help us, pursue that lifelong learning, um, while while letting go of things like judgment and things like, am I good enough? Am I as good as this person? How do I letting go of this need that a lot of us feel to be better than, or to show how good we are, right? It's not about that. It's about that magic that's within you and having confidence in that. And number three is to have courage even in the face of fear. And as you know, I've been re-recording a lot of new material for right now. And one of the videos really is just about, this process is scary. It is scary to, it's not like mountain lion's going to eat you scary, but it is scary to take something that you love, something that is as dear to you as a story, and put it on paper and put it out into the world and try to take this, again, this it's usually sort of like an ethereal idea. It's just sort of this like ambiguous cloud, and try to turn it into something solid, and try to capture capture the wonder of something that is still ambiguous, and put that wonder onto the page. So it is something that's scary, and it's okay for it to be scary. And I think it's just really important, though, in the face of fear, to have the courage to show up, have the courage to still keep working through it, keep feeling your way into it. And especially to have the courage to trust that magic that's in you, and have the courage to be a student, have the courage to be, be humble, while also knowing your magic and your worth that's there. And especially, number four is push the edge of your comfort zone. So as you're having courage in the face of fear, how how close to the edge of of your comfort zone, how far beyond the things that you are comfortable with, the things that you are um, used to, and are relatively easy for you, how far past that comfort zone can you push yourself? And I think about a couple years ago, um, I was I was like dead set. I was going to be only science fiction. I wasn't going to, I was going to niche down like hard into science fiction. And um, the best thing that I did at that point was actually start exploring other genres, was to start uh, trying things that were totally new, which allowed me to grow so much, allowed me to step into that humbleness, and to recognize that, that magic wasn't wasn't restricted to the one thing that I'd had a little bit of success at, right? So I think we always need to be pushing our comfort zone. And I've been reading Elizabeth Gilbert's Big Magic, and in it she talks about the best creativity happens at the edge of the comfort zone. So where can we be where can we be pushing ourselves? Where can we be like purposefully putting ourselves into a little bit of fear, forcing ourselves to have some courage, forcing ourselves to really dig deep and lean on the magic that we have within us, while also being humble, but lean on the magic that we have within us to help see us through things that are maybe not as rote as we would like, right? Things that are new for us. We need to rely on that inner magic to go through. And a big part of relying on your inner magic is number 5, which is open your heart. And this depending where your beliefs lie, this may be a little bit new age, but really what it means is allow yourself to experience the joy of writing, the joy of using your magic, the joy of and maybe I should be really clear, like magic to me is that creative spark that's within you, right? And allow yourself to feel the joy. Allow yourself to feel the love. Allow yourself to feel the warmth and that the creative surge that accompanies using that creative spark. And it's very similar to being humble and to being open and to having the courage because it's what am I really trying to say here? We it's very tempting, I think, to put a um to recognize we have the creative spark and to try to put um, a set of rules around it, right? To try to put a set of rules there for basically so that we feel safer, so that we feel that we've got um, that we've got more more control over the outcome, so that we know what's going to come out the other side. And that's fine. We can write a book that way. We can write multiple books and probably even build an author career, but you're never going to access the true depth of the magic that's there. You're never going to access your full potential with something so creative as writing. You'll never get to the full potential if you've got these rules, if you've got these, if your joy with the writing process is shut down. So principle number 5 is open your heart. And when we open our hearts, we are going to feel sometimes some heartache, right? So number 6, the 6th principle is embrace the heartache and experience it, finish with it, let it go, and move on. Right. So I mentioned, I had a rough week, had a lot of things that sort of piled on all at once that made it feel like honestly made it feel like maybe I wasn't supposed to move forward. Maybe I would be better off to give up, right? And that's okay. We all have those feelings. And what is important is to experience them, allow them to happen. We don't need to try to like hide them and shove them down because then they get stuck and they stay with us forever. We say, this is what I'm feeling. And we allow that feeling for 2 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour, whatever it takes. We finish with it, right? We don't need to hang on to it for years and years and years. We finish with it. We let it go. We say, okay, that's how I felt. I'm finished with that emotion. It's time to move on and do something different. So we let it go and we move on. We pick ourselves up and we go again. And that's the I mean that to me is the solution for um for the fear of opening the heart. That's how you get courage, is you understand that there is going to be hard times, there is going to be failure, there is going to be heartache, but you don't have to hold that forever. You can experience it with it. You can experience it, you finish with it, you let it go, and you move on. All right, number 7. Number 7 is see the power in others and know that you have the same in you. And so there is this tendency that I have noticed, not with certainly not with everyone in the writing community, probably not even the majority, but sometimes the louder majority um, has can have a tendency to try to tear other people down. That's that's the truth. And I get it because it's this fear thing where it's saying I need to be, in order to be good enough, I need to be better than so and so. And we can all do this, and I can do this too, where I'm reading a book and I say, I would have written this so much better, right? Like, hands up if you've ever thought that reading a book. And a couple years ago, I just really readjusted my thinking around that, and I said, "There's still something here that, um, that made, especially, some of the really, big books, the really popular books that turn into bestsellers, and maybe you read them and you say, how did that happen? Well, that's a really great question. How did that happen? What is the power in this book? What is it that this writer did right that is there and is available for you to learn?" And so that's true of books, that's true of people. Whenever we see something that we maybe get a little bit jealous of, jealousy is another very human emotion. It just means that it's something that we would like we would like for ourselves. And when we recognize when we can see the power in other people and we can see the good that's there, all of a sudden we know that this is a person and we're a person, and this person has this power, and we have the same power in us. Right? It's the same as knowing you have the magic in you, and everyone has their own unique spark of magic inside of them. So instead of doing this judgment thing, doing this ranking thing, and and maybe trying to beef ourselves and trying to inflate our sense of ego by trying to rank ourselves with someone else, recognize that every person has the unique magic. Every person has some power inside of them. And if you are seeing it, like if you can identify it, you have the exact same power in you. And the eighth principle here is show up for your commitments. This is another thing that I see that I see um so often, honestly, where um there's a lot of talk about wanting to be a writer. There's a lot of talk about, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. There's especially a lot of talk about, I could have written a book that was so much better than blah, blah, blah. And that's super. What we need to do is create a habit of showing up for commitments. And that's commitments that you make to other people. That's commitments that you make to yourself, especially. It can be very easy when the alarm clock goes off at 5 in the morning to roll over, hit snooze, and go back to sleep for a few hours instead of waking up for that writing time that you had planned. It can be easy to get home at the end of a long day and decide, I'm gonna watch TV instead of work on my book for an hour, which is what I had planned. So, number 8, again, is show up for your commitments, and particularly particularly the commitments that you make to yourself. And I think that that is so important. It's so important to recognize how powerful it is to show up for the commitments that you make to yourself, because when you when you do the thing that you say you're going to do, all of a sudden it sends this feedback message through your brain that says, well, she said she was going to show up at 5 a.m. to write, and she did that. And she also says she's going to be, a best-selling author with multiple book deals and blah, 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 blah. So she's also going to do that. And it gives you so much confidence. And when we have confidence, it becomes easier to have courage. It becomes easier to open the heart. It becomes easier to embrace the full big magic within us. So show up for your commitments, whether they're little, whether they're big, show up again and again and again. And don't forget about the consistency piece that is so important when we're building, a 80,000, 100,000 word book, and we're really doing it, 100 words at a time, 300 words at a time, 500 words at a time. You have to keep showing up for the consistency in order to get there. But the more that you show up, the more consistent you are, the more you know you can be consistent, the more confidence you have, the easier it becomes to show up again and again and again. And along the same line is number 9, that famous writing advice, show, don't tell. But when we're talking about showing up for your career, what I really mean is use your actions, not your words, right? So I sort of dove into this a little bit early, and I said, it's one thing to talk about writing. It's one thing to say, I'm going to write a book. Hands up if you have been at a party. I mean, not recently, but if you've had someone come up to you and say, I hear you write books. I also am going to write a book. And you say, uh-huh, super. There's something like 80 something percent of people, when surveyed, will say they want to write a book, whether, fiction or nonfiction. But like less than 0.01% of the population will actually ever do it. So be someone that takes action, right? Be someone that takes action, not just someone that talks about things. And 10 is be proud of who you are and the stories you want to tell. And this is probably another way of getting at the idea that I want you to share what is inside of you. I want you to share that unique magic, that unique perspective, the unique ideas that you have. Be proud. Don't feel the need to filter them through some sort of is this good enough process. Don't feel the need to dampen down your ideas, to soften your ideas, to try to make them fit more into people's expectations or what it is that we think people are going to like. And I talk about that with stories, but I mean, that's also true for how we show up in every aspect of our lives, right? Just so number 10 again is be proud of who you are, and particularly of the stories you want to tell. Open your heart, follow the joy, follow what it is that you feel called to write, because that is your unique magic. And that is actually the thing that is going to make your stories stand out, to really give your stories the that really unique special quality that no one no one can teach, no one can identify, no one can say what it is that makes this vampire story so much more interesting than this vampire story, than this vampire story, than the millions of vampire stories that are out there. What is the one that stands out? Why does it stand out? And I truly believe it's because the full um, the full authentic author voice is on display, and that is what people are looking for. It's that whole concept of what makes you weird will make you wealthy. So just embrace the weird, be proud of who you are, and really just tell the stories that you want to tell. But I know that that takes courage, and that takes a really big leap of faith. And 11 is get clear on what you want and what it is that you believe. right? The more clarity we have, the easier it is to move forward. And when I say clarity on what you want, what I mean is we don't just say, "Oh, I'd sort of like to be a best-selling author." But I mean, that's kind of a big goal that's kind of out of my control. Like, it would be okay if that never happened. Like, don't say that, right? That's the thing that you want. Get clear. Like, choose that that is the thing that you want, and decide that that is the thing that you are going to work to the end. If you are going to work yourself, not like exhaust yourself, not like to the bone, but you are going to keep showing up and moving towards that goal because it is what you want, right? Get clear on that. And sometimes when we start really looking at it, maybe books is not the thing that we really, really want. Maybe we want to be writing movies. Maybe we want to be writing, maybe we want to be writing short stories. We want to be going for something more episodic, like Kindle's got Vella now. So maybe there's something else we want to do. Maybe sometimes writing is the thing that's distracting us from the other thing that we really, really want. That's okay. It's all good. It's a process of discovery, and it's a process of discovering that inner magic, right? And then we get clear on what it is that we believe. So, what do we believe around this thing that we want? Do we believe that it's impossible to become a paid writer? Do we believe that only the most special people in the world, people who are specially talented, like the Stephen Kings of the world, have the ability to be an author as a full-time career? And then, is that a belief that you want to believe? Is that a belief that's effective for you? Is that a belief that's true? Is there something that could be more true, right? Like, Stephen King has been studying storytelling since he was like 10 years old, probably even before that, right? He's been writing an exceptionally long time. Of course he's talented. He's not special. He wasn't imbued with an extra lobe in his brain for storytelling. He just worked at it, right? So what do you believe? Do you want to believe that? Is there something that could be more true? Or is that thing that you believe true, or is there something else? What is it that you want to believe? And then then decide, write it down and convince yourself that that's actually the thing that's true. All right. And number 12, really just a summary here. Know your worth. Know your value. Know that, the unique author voice is in you, the unique magic is in you, and it has incredible value. It is it is like the last puzzle piece going, when you lose a puzzle piece on a 1,000-piece puzzle and you're like, "Oh no, this is the worst." And then you find it under the couch the next day and you put it in and it's the most incredible thing in the world. Your unique author voice is that puzzle piece, right? It's got so much value in it. It seems like it's nothing, it's no different than the other pieces, but without it, the puzzle can't be finished, right? So know your worth. Know that this is a journey, right? Whatever journey it is. And we're here talking about writing books. So know that the journey to, you know, writing the first book, writing multiple books, author stardom, whatever it is, know that it's a journey, and pick yourself up and go again, right? Whether something really fantastic is happening, whether something really horrible is happening, take a minute, experience it, let it happen, and then let it go and go again. So those are 12 principles that I think, um, I think really make up the mindset of a successful author and really make the difference between someone who wants to, who wants to tell stories, but it would be okay if it didn't happen versus someone who does it, who actually does the work, shows up, has the consistency, opens the heart, has the courage, brings out that big magic, can see how they fit in with everyone else and everyone else's big magic, and ultimately builds something incredible, something powerful. So those are all of the thoughts that I wanted to share with you guys today. Um, would love to know your feedback on that and any questions.